Well, I'm back. Yeah, I apologize for the last video. It's my first video I've ever, second video I've ever edited, and first video I've ever posted on YouTube. There were some mistakes made, and I will hopefully get those ironed out in the next videos that I do. Thank you to those in my family that have watched the video and gave me some critiquing. And then, of course, I watched it myself and realized that there were some mistakes anyway. So we'll see if I can get the aspect ratio fixed so it's not so small and tiny, and I will do better about zooming in and not being so long-winded. Obviously, I knew I was on the last video. But anyway, so we're going to continue in this video working on that hymn book and possibly starting another or continuing another project, but starting to video another project. And then I've got a few videos coming up about that were requested from Jen's sister. She's a teacher in California, and she's got some students that are interested in doing some leather work, and I am going to hopefully get some instructional videos for them put out. Anyway, here we go. All right, this is where I left you last time with this project, the hymn book repair. So this is a 10-pound bag, which I should have explained last time, but didn't. 10-pound bag of rice. It's just canvas, regular canvas that you can get from cloth store, Hobby Lobby, whatever. Works really good for doing shaping and for putting pressure on books or anything flat that, flat or otherwise, that, you want to glue together. 10 pounds is plenty. I mean, it's probably overkill, but I had a 20-pound bag of rice, so I was able to make 2 bags. Anyway, and then I put wax paper in there, just in case I do some too much gluing. My glue goes over, extends over where the areas that I want to actually have stick together, especially with paper where it can rip mix, and then I don't have to pull it apart. It doesn't stick to the wax paper. It peels apart really good. But I'll reuse this for the other side, which is what I'm going to be doing right now. So last time we glued this together, I glued the binding on the back, which is, you can or don't have to, but I decided that this was needing just a little bit extra hold together, so I actually glued this back portion of the leather to the binding, which most books don't have that, but this one will. So now I can do the other side. This side, and I may go ahead and do this as well, is going to get the interior done. So I'll need to bend it open, similar to this, and see, this is the reason why I look at things before I do them. The next step on this side would be to actually fold this in. So I'll have to do a little bit of trim work here, and I can fold this in and have it glued to the inside of the paper here before I do this, the interior, which will again probably have to be trimmed, but this here will glue to the paper and cover up any of the overlap that I'm going to put on this. So I'll go ahead and before I move on with this side, I'll go ahead and glue this overlap on, and then I can close that side up and get the paper on this side and do a full glue on that. So and this time I'm not going to glue this and then wait. I'm just going to put some glue on it and then fold it all together, and then sandwich it and put my weight back on it. So with that being said, if I run into anything else that needs some instruction, I will I'll slow the video down and then we'll go from there. All right, we're going to pause that for just a second so I can go over what I just did. So on these corners, and I fouled up just slightly. I need to leave this just a little bit longer than what it is, so there's a little bit more to glue to. But what I want to do is fold this corner in, and then glue this over top of it. So that's the reason why this is just a little bit too short. There's it'll still be fine. Obviously I don't want to have to pull all this apart and start over from scratch, but yeah, in order to get the look that I want, this will fold over like that. This corner piece, if you can see it, I'm not sure if you can see it really well. This corner piece right here, I'm going to fold over first and have it glued down, and then these two pieces will fold over, meet in the center over top of this. What I'll do is as I'll get this one cut, and then I'll slow it down when I glue it, and show you exactly what I mean. So yeah, so I'll go ahead and get the other side cut, and then start the glue process. Got the glue spread. Right now I'm just kind of waiting for it to get sticky, so it almost to where it clears off, so you can't see any more of the white. This is how contact cement works. It's best to have it to where it feels almost dry, or well, yeah, it looks almost dry, and it's really tacky. So that you want to put it on both surfaces that you're gluing together, and with it being that tacky, it will hold itself in position so you don't have to hold it. Some of the other contact cements that are out there that are not water-based, or that are yeah, they're stinky. It's the stinky contact cement. Essentially the same thing, and those you can actually let set for 10-15 minutes, and then come back, put them together, and they hold together, and pretty much all it takes is pound it on with a hammer or some pressure. That's where this comes in. For the life of me right now, I can't remember what it's called, but it's bone. It's made from bone, and it helps you get down into creases. I also use it for marking sometimes if I want a mark that's not going to not going to stay. It puts a little bit of an indent on whatever I'm working on, the leather that I'm working on, and but it's easy enough just to kind of rub out when you're done. So we're getting really close here. Just kind of waiting on this corner right here. I might be able to get this one to set right now, so we'll go ahead and do that. Let's see here. See if I can get it to go over, and then while I'm using this, I can kind of get it to, I can push it just a little bit to get it to stretch as well. Yeah, that one worked good. So we'll do this other corner. It should be about ready. Yeah, there we go. So as I'm doing this, I'm kind of giving it some pressure downward and pushing it out. So we get a really nice tight crease right here. And I'm being careful not to touch the other areas that are glued so I don't get glue on this. It's not that big of a deal to get glue on here, but it does make it a lot harder to get things to work. Now I'm going to kind of slowly work these seams over. Let the fold kind of work itself on that page. There we go. And now that I've got this kind of started, I'm going to do the other two sides. And then I will finish off with this here by pushing it all down and getting it nice and tight. And then I can close this up and do the other side. Now again, this is going to be covered up. If you were going to be doing seams like this right here that would not have something over top of them, you'd want to, yeah, I would want to make sure that this actually touches and it looks more like this corner over here. But since we are covering it up, it's not as big a deal. To get it to go, and this is just slightly long, so I'm going to pull that back and see if I can trim it with the scissors before I set. So now that those seams will sit down next to each other versus on top of each other, and that's still a hair long back there. There it is. There we go. That's better. And I should have trimmed this side off. But again, it's being covered up, so we won't see it. Okay, so there, that side is completed, and I could have made it just a hair bigger. Probably should have, but it will work. And again, I'll trim that corner off. So, being somebody who's, able to admit their mistakes, I should have actually folded this back up, maybe added another 1/4 of an inch on it before I folded it. So it actually has a protection back here. But that's how we learn, right? Mistakes. So I'll go ahead and trim this right now. Yeah, I'll do that portion later, but the corners are bothering me. Okay, there we go. So again, so now I'm not going to do this side the way I should because it's not going to match the other side. But there we have it. So that side is as good as done as we're going to get it right now. And I will start working on this other side, getting the paper in it right there. Something that I forgot, and I want to say this, I want to get to this before I start gluing this up, is some of the tools that I was using last time I didn't really go through. This here is a glue roller. I got it off of Amazon. I'll see if I can find it again, and if I do, I'll leave a I'll leave a shortcut or a pat in the description, and as well as some of the other tools that I've been using here. I've had these scissors for a long time. They're just Fiskars. They're razor edge. They work really good. And then this here was from Tandy. I'll leave a shortcut for that, and as well as the glue that I use. I like I said, I usually use this for pretty much everything that has to do with bonding flexible items together. It doesn't get crusty and hard, as long as it's not going to be getting wet or weathered too terribly wet in the future. But that being said, the glue roller, I use this for woodworking as well. I have two of them, one for in here and one for in my shop. They come in extremely handy for doing larger glue ups. So from there, as I think of it, I'll pop in and let you know what I'm using. Okay, so we got the glue up done here. I've got got the wax paper folded into two places. The first place was underneath that first page, so we don't glue any of the pages together. And then of course I've got the paper glued in. I don't want to open it right now to show so it doesn't move. If you noticed, I did kind of get one spot a little bit stuck before. I wanted it to be, I didn't want it there. It would have created a wrinkle, so I actually wound up having to pull that apart and reseat it. Another thing that I will mention is that if you do get some on your fingers, make sure that you're not touching too much where it's going to show. It is easy. It is fairly easy to get off. You could see that there was a little line right here, and actually I have what we call a glue eraser. Something else that I got from Tandy Leather, and I will leave yeah, a shortcut in the description, video description. But if you run over top of wherever the glue touched very lightly, then it will grab the glue and kind of roll it up into little balls. And you don't want to push too hard, because then it starts to score the grain on the leather, and yeah, and it'll show. Anyway, this does not erase all mistakes. Only glue mistakes, and only just where you touch it. It doesn't magically pull pieces apart, but it is very good at taking it off of surfaces that you don't want the glue to be seen. Also, that being said, make sure that your glue, if you do have areas that you're gluing that are close to an area that is going to be visible, you want to keep it kind of back a little bit from the edges, as much as you possibly can. And if you do go over that, make sure you wipe it up pretty quick. Keep paper towels handy. And every so often on my mat here, because right now I'm rolling my hand over it, there's little, you can't really see it, but there's little balls of glue that are balling up right here. So every so often I'll clean this off with a wet rag and make sure that all the glue is gone, so I don't get little balled up pieces on my on any of the pieces that I make. Something else that I did not explain the other day, another tool that I use all the time, these brushes. These are just like an acid brush. They're super cheap. I think I got 500 of them for not very much money from Amazon. I'll put these in the description as well. And I cut about, I don't know, 2/3 of the bristles off. I think I saw that I showed that in the first video, or at least you heard me doing it with the vacuum running. But the reason I do that is because these gum up really fast with this glue, and as they get gummier, the bristles will actually come out and they'll wind up in your work. So I cut most of that off. They don't hold quite as much glue, and you wind up filling it more often. But I can also be a lot more detail oriented with smaller pieces, and getting into crevices a little bit easier, because I have those. It makes the bristles really kind of stiff and a lot easier to use. Anyway, so that being said, I'm gonna set this off to the side with my weighted pillow. Might actually be kind of comfortable pillow though, if you got, talk about the world's largest warmie. Throw that in the microwave for 30 minutes, and I'll bet your feet would stay nice and warm all night long. All night long. Sorry. Yeah, so I will put this on top of it, over on my glue bench, I guess. That's where I put all my projects that I'm in the middle of doing something with, or where I've got where I'm transitioning from project to project. And I will start on the next one, or continue with the next one. All right, thanks for watching.